Hello, welcome back to HM and Big E Review Things. Today we are talking about Uncharted. Uncharted. We did zero research. Who directed this? We don't know. Tom Holland is in it with
Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
That's all you need to
the
know.
main. Well, there is the girl too, which we
And
don't.
Antonio Banderas.
And Antonio Banderas. Uncharted, based on, of course, the very popular video game series, just came out. What are your overall thoughts on Uncharted?
I played the video games. I
Yes.
played maybe one or two of them,
Okay.
and I kind of obviously expect that type of movie. So it's going to be adventures. It's going to have some quippy humor. It's going to be some puzzle solving and general action and stunts. So it gave me all of that.
Yeah. Tick, tick,
Tick, tick, tick, tick, tick. I guess the big standout for me was whether Tom Holland was a good choice or not. Some people would say yes, because he's bankable. He's funny, I think, generally bankable. But he's a bit young for the role. Nathan Drake is supposed to be older.
Yes.
In the video games, he's at least 35, 40,
Yeah.
right? But this guy's playing a 21-year-old or something like that, so 25-year-old at most. I think overall it was a serviceable action movie.
So the Uncharted games, if you're unfamiliar, are this kind of treasure hunting, kind of action adventure games. But the things that has really set the Uncharted series video games apart was how cinematic it was. That was the main kind of thing, that they will always have these sequences that are these big, essentially cinematic, set pieces.
But you interact in those times.
You do interact, yeah. And I've only played, I think, 2 or 3 of them as well. But again, a few of those really, really iconic moments, those real-time moments where you have to press a button at the right time or whatever, or you're climbing something, and it feels like a movie. And so it's kind of come a little bit full circle now that they're making a movie about the video game that feels like a movie.
Right. What's the difference between that and Tomb Raider?
Uncharted, I think Nathan Drake obviously owes a lot of inspiration in the video game to Tomb Raider. But again, Tomb Raider, the originals anyway, were a lot more basic. There wasn't as much character development for the character, Lara Croft. Which the Angelina Jolie movie is pretty good. The original first one, it's kind of like I'll watch it.
But Lara Croft is more iconic because Nathan Drake just looks like a guy with a shirt on.
Yeah, he's just a dude. Yeah.
He's just a dude. But Lara Croft has the two
guns.
and she has a pickaxe, and of course the outfit and the ponytail.
Yes.
But to Nathan Drake, I just felt like why
he's a bit more bland, and
he's quippy. He's supposed to be a little bit.
From playing the games, I don't remember much of his character.
He makes some jokes sometimes.
But that's what I'm saying. He doesn't stand out. I agree with you. He's not as iconic as a character. But the video game was always very... people really enjoy the video game because of the cinematic feel. So,
okay, sure.
Okay, anyway, let's dive into it a little bit. We'll go into spoilers here. Spoiler alert. I felt like this movie... there were a few sequences where I felt like it was... very much trying to emulate the video game. You felt like, that you could be, I could have a controller here. And, when he's the chase through the city, or when he's swinging on those lights,
That's right.
Obviously the beginning scene, the movie starts in the beginning with the scene that's shown in all of the trailers of him falling out of the airplane. Him waking up
with the cargo.
And he's dangling in the air. This is lifted almost directly from...
I thought, though, that there was a point where he's gonna, press a button, his spider suit goes, and I was like, problem solved. Because it's really
difficult separating.
It's difficult. He has the same haircut, same accent, same look, right? So I really thought it was Peter Parker.
But they really tried hard to establish early. This guy's not the best dude. He's not Peter Parker because he steals things, and.
I just felt that I mean, that's a casting choice. I was thinking about it. I know probably why they wanted a younger actor to carry it forward.
And more sequels.
He's popular with young people.
Yeah. I think he was the wrong choice.
Did you really?
I did.
I actually kept on thinking Mark Wahlberg was going to
should have been Nathan Drake.
He was doing all the jokes, and he's fit for his age. He would have probably been a better Nathan Drake, to be honest. But at the same time, I saw Tom Holland do all these little jumping and parkour and stunts, and I was thinking, okay, they're casting partly for that reason as well. But
Mark Wahlberg probably.
So why do you think he should have not been Nathan Drake?
Again, I think he is too young. I think he does look too young. When the Uncharted games came out and got really, really popular, there was a lot of fan casting, and the top fan casting for everyone's choice was
Nathan Fillion.
Who, at his prime and back when he was kind of a bigger star, and sorry Nathan if you're watching, thank you for watching.
But Nathan, it's because he's kind of quippy.
Yeah, quippy and a little bit older. Again, you want that kind of a bit of a seasoned look. And I don't think Tom Holland has that.
No, he looked too young as Nathan Drake. But again, I know that there's a marketing piece that they're trying to think through. But anyway, so
it starts with the cargo plane, which actually, right off the bat, I think that should not have been. I know they wanted to
make it
to hook you right away, but I hate it when then when it flashes back and it's like, okay, so we know he'll go on the journey. We know, there's the car. We know what it's leading up to, and it shows the same thing again.
Yeah, basically.
Okay for you were okay with the opening?
Yeah, but I also saw in the trailer.
Yeah, so you saw the entire thing in the trailer.
Yeah, so it wasn't really necessary. Anyway, so usually a movie like that for like Indiana Jones would start with he's actually doing a treasure hunt.
Yes,
and then you finish that and you establish this guy's good at hunting treasure. This guy's a little bit cocky. This guy needs a mentor, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then it cycles back to the next one.
What did it establish for the character of Nathan Drake, played by Tom Holland, in the first action sequence? That he's athletic.
Yeah, and he's used to these type of things.
But he's not really used to killing people, because he has those very MCU-ish lines of, oh, sorry, that was a reflex.
That's right. It would have been better, again, Peter Parker. I think it would have been better if they started with he's doing a smaller treasure hunt.
Right.
Establishing that this guy is doing this for life. He's not a bartender, right? Because he's really good at shaking the martinis. And I guess they established he's a good thief.
Yes.
So the story goes that Mark Wahlberg's like, and I don't really know how this happened, but he was like, I guess it was because, spoiler, his brother was working on a case with Mark Wahlberg's character, Sully.
Yes.
And then he's like, okay, well, your brother got lost, so I'm going to ask you to help me on this epic treasure hunt. And then it really goes into the whole sequence of they got to, steal a key, a cross.
Yes.
And let's go, and that's a key to unlocking the next treasure.
Yeah.
So it's got the National Treasure.
The National Treasure stuff.
Feel to it.
That's a National Treasure is a wonderful guilty pleasure movie.
Especially the first one.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. This one does not do it as well.
Doesn't do it as well. I agree. I don't know. They go. It hits all the marks that it's supposed to on paper, right? They visit all the different locations. There are traps. There's secret things that they have to find. But it didn't engage me quite as much.
It doesn't. The little puzzle solving is not clever.
No.
And National Treasure was better because it would establish why he has to do a certain thing to unlock a certain puzzle. But this one is more like, let's fidget around with it.
Right.
Either it's clockwise or anti-clockwise, then that's it. And you have to either put it together or don't put it together.
And it doesn't really establish, or I don't remember plot-wise, why it established that they hid their treasure here, but then the captain and those guys, they set up all these traps and stuff for people to follow it there.
Just to get a map or something. Right?
Yeah, anyway.
It's because it's a wild goose chase. They need to bring you to different locations.
Right.
And, I did appreciate the fact that they were shooting on location at some of these European cities and these ocean villages, whatever, but
some of it was bad. I don't know. The cargo scene, it felt really fake. Obviously, they're not going to dangle Tom Holland from an actual airplane.
Look very fake.
But the lighting, again, we've talked about this before, that our brains and our eyes are able to recognize some of this stuff. What did you think about the two young little children apparently obsessed with Magellan and that they would break into a museum to look for his map?
I just think that's bogus. And then they kick the kid out of orphanage.
They're so young, too. That's the problem. I find that they're too young. That they cast those too young. Like in Last Crusade, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, they do flash back to a young Indy, and he's sort of like a teenager. And they have that bit where he's passionate, and he steals back, incidentally, I think, a Spanish cross belonging to somebody else.
River Phoenix played that role.
Yes. But I feel that that's a better age. They cast these two kids in this flashback to be much younger, that I don't really believe. It's difficult to believe.
Again, the opening first 15 minutes could have been done much more efficiently.
Yeah.
and believably. You know, like it's like, okay, you stole something. We're gonna kick you out of this orphanage.
It was his third strike. No, they didn't even steal anything. They just broke into.
And he's like, you know what? I've had enough of this, and he just
And
leaves.
he leaves. And
And then he's like, oh no. And then 15 years later, literally goes there. I just think again, if you're gonna go with a young Tom Holland, give him a reason why he's a treasure hunter. Maybe he's with his dad or something, and you know, he learns the art of the treasure hunting, but his dad dies, and then now he's kind of grumpy and he doesn't want to hunt treasure anymore.
There was no real even payoff to the brother story.
No,
to the
zero.
brother arc. He discovers that the brother
left him some clues. That's
and
it.
that was it. Like there was no emotional kind of. And anyway,
Did you see that the girl was going to betray them?
okay, so this is probably my largest complaint about the movie.
Okay.
That the betrayals became so tedious. There were so many betrayals that were so not necessary.
Very cartoonish.
Super, super cartoonish. It definitely went beyond the limits of believability. I'm going to betray you right now. Oh, and the next, like immediately the next scene. Okay, you know, oh, we gotten over it, and then I'm going to betray you now.
Yeah. I was watching the movie and thinking,
Scooby-Doo-ish.
Very Scooby-Doo-ish, and I mean, look, it goes through the typical tropes and pace. You know, it goes through a middle scene where they're kind of looking for after they find the map, they go into another place, and what happens? And then the last scene, the last action sequence, I'm not a fan of, where it became very
video game
and fantasy.
Definitely fantasy. This tiny helicopter
Yeah, and they're shooting
is
cannonballs.
able to lift.
Look, don't do that stuff. Like, just do a.
But it's a video game movie. I actually excuse that. I'm okay with that.
Okay, fine. Again, it to me it reminds me of Indiana Jones, National Treasure, even Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, but
Those are all done better.
all those are done better.
I agree.
On almost every level.
But the comparison to Tomb Raider is interesting because both of those are the actual video games that were made into movies. And as video game movies go, we've had a lot of stinkers. There's been a lot of bad ones. I mean, even recently I reviewed Sonic 2, and that wasn't really great. This, I feel, is a decently faithful adaptation, at least in terms of feel. I feel the characters, compared to the video game, were all wrong. In terms of Nathan Drake should have been Mark Wahlberg, and then they should have gotten some even older guy to be Sully.
With a mustache?
With a mustache and and they established the mustache in the post-credit.
Yeah.
But I thought the casting choice was weird. But as video game movies go, I think it was okay. Honestly, my biggest gripe was all the betrayals. I really don't think it was necessary. And it wasn't believable. I thought Antonio Banderas did fine as a mustache twirling villain until he unceremoniously, I mean, we're in spoilers, gets killed.
Yeah, quickly.
Very quickly, without any long-lasting impact.
And no blood. Did
you notice? Yeah, he cuts his throat, and it's just, it's a little bit red.
Yeah, and then, he's dead. Okay, move on. Right?
It's like, what? Like, isn't this family, like, they established this family is super, super big and important and has all this money, and like the father and the son both just get randomly murdered, and there's no real repercussions. They brush that aside.
It's very video gamey.
Very video game. I mean, the last action scene.
If you want to watch an adventure movie, watch National Treasure, watch the Indiana Jones movies. Not Crystal Skull, but watch the Last Crusade. Those just the puzzles and everything are much clever. The betrayals are better. The humor hits better. Yeah.
Yes. All of that. I don't know. I don't have much else to say to Uncharted. I'm not going to remember this movie.
Nope.
A week from now.
Do you think it'll get a sequel?
Yes.
They tease it.
I think it will. I mean, I didn't see what the box office results were.
My guess is a sequel will stink, and then they won't touch it.
Stop.
And then they'll reboot it 5 years from with what we just talked about, an older guy. They'll do that.
Tom Holland then. Okay, my final grade for Uncharted? B-.
Yeah.
B-. I don't really want to give it a C because it's entertaining enough, and it's it has some of the action sequences generally are pretty good, but there's a lot of big holes, and the tedium of the betrayals. I mean, honestly, if we counted them, I'm guessing there's about 7 or 8 betrayals. Like, that's too much, right? In a movie like this, you want to establish something, and there's one betrayal.
Right?
And that's fine. I mean, even in That terrible Netflix movie. Red Notice. Red Notice. Mm-hmm. Like there's the twist at the end. There's one betrayal.
I did not watch that.
You didn't watch Red Notice?
No, because I know it's going to be bad.
Oh, you should totally watch it. You're such a Dwayne Johnson fan. Okay, anyway, B- is my grade. What's your grade for Uncharted?
B-.
B-, yeah. Okay. Not much more to say. Uncharted. If you like Tom Holland, you'll like the movie.
He's cute.
He's cute. Yeah, he's
like my daughter was like, he's cute.
Yeah. He's a.
I said, that's it. That's your review.
But that's it. Like that's why they cast him. They know he's a very big appeal on a relatively large franchise. Do you think Mark Wahlberg did fine?
He basically just did his Mark Wahlberg thing.
Yeah,
he doesn't even need to read the lines.
Yeah.
He's just making quippy jokes. Again, he would be a better Nathan Drake.
The girl was okay too.
Forgettable.
And then no. Oh, we didn't even talk about this, but the girl established as this, pretty main character, and then betrayal, and then last act, she's just not in it, right? Like, he sends her away to another boat,
and then she's at the very end.
But for the entire last major action sequence, she's just not there. Look, it's kind of like Kumail Nanjiani's character in Eternals, where it's just, no, I'm gonna leave now.
Yes.
In the third act. All right, B- movie. You may like it. Let us know what you think. If you've seen it, let us know what you think about what we think. And until next time, keep watching things.
Like and subscribe to our channel.
Thanks.